Hi. Stephen continues with his history of Israel in Acts chapter 7. We will read this time verses 37 to 45, Moses to David. This is that Moses who said to the children of Israel, "The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brethren. Him you shall hear. This is he who was in the congregation in the wilderness with the angel who spoke to him on Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, the one who received the living oracles to give to us, whom our fathers would not obey, but rejected, and in their hearts they turned back to Egypt, saying to Aaron, 'Make us gods to go before us. As for this Moses, who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him.' And they made a calf in those days, offered sacrifices to the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. Then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. Did you offer me slaughtered animals and sacrifices during 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? You also took up the tabernacle of Molech and the star of your god, Remphan, images which you made to worship, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Our fathers had the tabernacle of witness in the wilderness, as he appointed, instructing Moses to make it according to the pattern that he had seen, which our fathers, having received it in turn, also brought with Joshua into the land possessed by the Gentiles, whom God drove out before the face of our fathers, until the days of David." So Stephen reminds them that Moses prophesied one to come from among their people, the Messiah. Him you shall hear. And then he relates the record of their fathers' idolatry in the wilderness. They were God's people, but they do not have a pure record. God saved them out of Egypt, led them in the wilderness, is present with them, meets with Moses at the tabernacle of witness, or as I remember it being called in the New World Translation, the tent of meeting in the book of Exodus. But do Jehovah's Witnesses believe they met there? The Jews Stephen is speaking to are happy with the temple arrangement, and they are content with their current status, with their system. The high priest gets you in to the Holy of Holies, and you are temporarily forgiven your sins. Stephen reminds them of the one to come, the Messiah. Him you shall hear. Jehovah's Witnesses are worse off than those Israelites that wouldn't listen to Stephen. The watchtower has several barriers between you and God to keep you separate from God. The rank and file Jehovah's Witness is told, "You are not Spirit anointed. You will never be in God's presence, and you do not have Jesus as your mediator, your high priest and sacrifice, and so you don't have the permanent solution to your sins, forgiveness, by a perfect sacrifice." I'm going to link 2 videos, the first one being Blasphemy re One Mediator. JW Org says, "We are the way to the way." And we are discussing from Ray Franz's book, In Search of Christian Freedom, in that video. The second one is, have Jehovah's Witnesses ever been God's organization? Russell says, anointed, mediator, share in ransom. That was a big shocker for me.